Hello, it's Dr. Edward, the Healing Vet here. And today I want to expand on something that I've been talking about quite a bit recently, which is trauma and anxiety in our beautiful pets, in our animals. And I was wanting to talk a bit, I've talked a lot about using bodywork to help animals that have post-traumatic stress, which most of the rescue animals that I see have at least some degree, and a lot of them have really severe post-traumatic stress issues going on. And there's a lot you can do to help them. There's also a lot of animals that have anxiety, especially the COVID puppies. All these new puppies that people have got, often people who've never had a dog before, have got these COVID puppies, and they brought these dogs into their life often without having much understanding of what dogs need in terms of behaviour and training, and on top of that, having all the restrictions means that a lot of these puppies have not been socialised in the way that they need to be socialised to have them develop mentally and emotionally in a healthy way. So what I want to talk about is how hands-on work, loving, intentional touch, the mechanism by which that can lead to really beautiful healing for these animals who are traumatized and who have anxiety issues. So with bodywork, if I touch the back of my hand here, in a very special way, I'm actually touching every single cell in my body at the same time, in a physical way, especially if I start to move the skin and tissues. Now, your animal, and we're animals too, we are a consciousness, a living, feeling, intelligent being who is embedded in this physical vessel, in this body. And this physical body is what we experience life, and what our animals experience life with through their sensory awareness, through their emotional processes and responses to that sensory awareness, and through their mental activities and processes which are in response to the things that happen, the events that impact the animal and the life. So everything that happens that is non-physical, like mental and emotional experiences, have a profound effect on the physical body, because you can't actually divide the physical body from the mental, emotional, or the sensory experiences of the animal, because a living being is a whole thing. You can't go in there and say, I'm just going to surgically remove the emotional part of this animal. It's not possible. The physical body is an expression of the whole, but it's not the whole picture, right? But you can actually interact with the non-physical aspects of the animals that you care for in your life through hands-on touch, through bodywork. When you interact with the body, you're interacting with a special anatomical system, series of tissues or organ that penetrates every single part of the body. And this special system of tissue also stores emotional, mental patterns of energy in the physical being. So this is a complex fractal network of connective, fascial tissues and nervous tissues. The fascia holds everything in the body together, gives everything in the body its form, and is deeply involved with the sensory, felt, mental, emotional experiences and consciousness of the animal. And remember, we're animals too. So this is like a three-dimensional spider web of connective and neural tissues that interpenetrates and interconnects every single part of the body on every scale of dimension, from the size of whole organs down to individual cells. So when you touch your animal's body with just one fingertip and start affecting the physical body in one place, there's a transmission of movement and information through this neurofascial network, which can affect the whole body in a really profound and beautiful way, not just physically but also mentally and emotionally. And hello to everyone out there who's watching live. Please say hi in the chat. I'd love to hear where you're from and what animals you have. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends if you get useful information. If you have any questions as we go along, ask them in the chat and I will answer them. But please do say hello. I'd love to hear where you are and what in the world and what animals share your life. So when you touch your animal's hands-on, when you learn how to do intentional touch, body work, every touch causes an emotional and mental response in the being who is touched. And every touch affects the nervous system, causing a strong response on all levels of your animal's nervous system. The central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, and very importantly, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems are all affected with every kind of touch. Any kind of loving touch you give your animals, when you pat them, it affects their nervous system. But the effect on the nervous system can be magnified very, very strongly if you learn how to do intentional touch. And hi, Emily from Bristol. Who else is out there? Where else in the world have we got people checking in from? If you've got questions, please ask. Likewise on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. So you can have a profound effect on the nervous system, and the nervous system is what mediates most of the issues when it comes to post-traumatic stress and anxiety. It's effectively an inability of the animal to be able to move from unhealthy arousal to healthy relaxation. They've lost the ability to move back to relaxation, to let go, to switch off, and to relax. So when you touch an animal, and very powerfully if you learn how to do get skilled up with bodywork to help your animals, the touch, wherever you touch on the body, there's an impact, a positive impact that flows onto all the organs, the organ systems, and all the tissues and structures of the body, and all the mental and emotional states of the animal through these physical and neurological interconnections of the neurofascial network. The body is a whole, and the neurofascial network literally holds the body together. It is the one thing that you find in every part of the body. It's the one kind of tissue, kind of organ that is present and interpenetrating everything else. Touch and feeling is transmitted through the neurofascial network, and information is stored in the neurofascial network as well. So one kind of information that the neurofascial network stores is trauma. So the body stores trauma or anxiety as a whole. All parts, all dimensions, all aspects of your animal are affected, and are affected in an ongoing way, because what happens is that the energy of the traumatic events are imprinted or embedded as patterns of energy into the being, into the neurofascial network, physically, mentally, emotionally, in every way. And there's this pattern of energy that is then stored up, stuck in the body as a result of any traumatic experience or repeated anxiety events. So there's a very physical pattern of tension that is part of this. Now, if you have a really severe injury, there can actually be physical scarring, but not always. Often it's quite a lot more subtle. There's a snapshot, it's like a snapshot of the animal's reaction to the trauma or the anxiety is then printed into the body. Now, if the event is repeated, if you have repeated abuse or repeated triggers of anxiety, that patterns get stronger and stronger and stronger. They get reinforced. So then working hands-on with the physical structures of the body means that because there's a pattern of physical tension that's trapped in these tissues and in the body, when you work with, engage with, and release these patterns of physical tension, well, we've got heaps more people who said hello. Jane, Jane Connolly, we've got several Janes today. Welcome to all of you. If you've got any questions, please do ask as we go along too. So you can work physically to heal on mental and emotional levels with the animal. So this physical touch actually touches the untouchable aspects of the animal. And you can heal all of this really, really beautifully. And I see again and again and again that when we do body work with animals that have trauma, especially rescue animals, anxiety, then suddenly they're a different dog. They're relaxed, they're happy, they're playful, they can switch off and sleep, and often they start becoming much more trainable because their arousal levels drop down and their frontal cortex switches on, so they can start to think more clearly and make better choices. Now, it's an interesting thing that the mind is a big part of post-traumatic stress and anxiety. The patterns of thinking, the patterns of worrying, the patterns of fear of something happening, and then the mental responses to triggers play a really strong role in then switching on that fight-flight reflex and the turning on the animal's crazy button, if you want to talk about it like that. So the body work that I teach, whole energy body balance, causes a really strong body level relaxation response. So it's very much the physical body and nervous system causing this relaxation response. And paradoxically, often that can feel really uncomfortable to an animal who's been traumatized or has a history of anxiety, because they've been on full alert for so long that it's just become normal. And when they relax, it can feel very strange. It can feel really unsafe and threatening to relax. So often when you're working with them hands-on, you see them relax and their mind goes, oh my God, I can't relax. I can't relax. Something will get me, right? So what you can do then is just gently keep on doing the body work, and the animals will relax and arouse and relax, and eventually over time you'll get a deeper and deeper relaxation. Another reason that animals sometimes experience distress when we work hands-on with them is that because you're connecting and engaging with the patterns of trauma in the body, you're also connecting and engaging with the patterns of emotional and mental trauma that are locked in the body too. And you have to be able to engage with pain and tension and trauma to be able to release and heal it effectively. But that can be uncomfortable, and it's a natural response for an animal to go, well, that's uncomfortable, I want to avoid it, right? So it's kind of like touch medicine. It can taste bad in the beginning. But if you gently persist while respecting your animal and being kind to your animal, then what happens over time is that the animal's mental patterns will shift, because they'll relax and relax and relax, and suddenly their mind goes, nothing bad happened. Oh, this relaxation thing actually feels kind of comfortable and lovely and nice. No, it's all right. So over days or weeks or months, you can get really, really significant changes in all sorts of trauma and anxiety behavior issues. So the way that I work with this is a whole energy body balance method. If you're interested in learning more about that, please send me an email. It's a beautiful, beautiful way for you to become a home practitioner or even a professional practitioner and help traumatized or anxious animals. Now, are there any questions out there? I'll just hang on for 1 minute. If there's a question, type fast. And you'll see in the comments too that there's a link through to a blog post as well. Or you can message me here on Facebook. Okay, it looks like there's no questions, so I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'll see you back again next week.